Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, tonight we're going to do something that we haven't done in this club in about 8 to 10 years. And this is something which will help each and every one of us. Now, what we're going to do, because I'm going to be the moderator, and we'll have these four be one team, and I thought I saw I had 3 over here.
Do you want me to move over there?
So, yeah, we can do that, that way we can have 3 and 3, because Batsill has to leave here in a few minutes.
We were just getting used to him being back. Now he's here.
Okay, now, I'm sure all of you here know Henry Ford. What is Henry Ford so famous for?
Making an automobile for the common man.
Okay,
I thought it was the production line.
Assembly
line.
assembly line. Yeah, it was actually both, because in order to have cars that the common person can afford, you had to do an assembly line. You never thought of doing an assembly line prior to Henry Ford, because everyone, just like Rolls-Royce, you know, Rolls-Royce does not come down an assembly line. They are handmade from start to finish. Oh, some of you didn't know that. I thought everybody knew that. All right, now, Henry Ford came out with this, and I use it every once in a while because it really is a true fact. And I think you can read it back there, but I'll do it just in case. Whether you believe you can do a thing or not, you're right. And so many people, and I've worked with some of them over the years, that I can't do that. Man, that's not in me. What are you trying to get me to do? See? So they set themselves up for failure before they even get started. Now, in Toastmasters, I'm going to do my temporary sergeant run today. I thought I had them all together. Now,
Give out to everybody.
yes. Now, this is something that Toastmasters puts out, and it's called a new member orientation. Now, how many of you can remember back, with the exception of Mr. Spitz here, can think back to your very first time to visit a Toastmaster Club? I see a couple of heads this way, and I see a couple of heads this way. So, Tim, what was so interesting about your first experience with Toastmasters?
I didn't know the structure of the meeting, the way it was structured with speeches, evaluations, and table topics. I didn't realize that you could show up to the meeting and be called on to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, even if you didn't sign up for something.
Okay. All right. Now, unfortunately, we only have one woman, so I always try to bring the women into it, so you're going to have to speak up for all the women.
Well, my first tabletop, or my first Toastmasters experience was, I think, very unique. It was in Colorado, and I was listening to someone speak, and every time there was an also or there was a bell ringing, and it was very intimidating and annoying. And so, ding, 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 and it scared me away. So I didn't go back for like 5 years. Not until I moved to Oregon did I go to Toastmasters because it was that bad.
See, we never use that, but we do keep track of the ahs and the ums, you knows, or another crutch word. You can use that as a filler. I usually don't get caught with those, there's another one that if they're watching or listening, they'll catch me. Now, I'm not going to read everything that's on here, but I want you to read this in your spare time. And on the back, we're going to pass out another thing here in a few minutes. But don't have enough of these to pass around because they wouldn't let me make that many copies. But once a year, we track all the stuff that goes on in Toastmasters, both in the club and other clubs that they visit, or any other place that maybe they give several talks at a church. And if they can get someone to evaluate that, it goes on here and they get points for it. And we award the outstanding Toastmaster at the club based pretty much right there. And that is done by the 8 club officers. Okay, now I'm going to pass these around, and the reason I'm doing these rather than the basic manual is because the basic manual is being done away with, but we're getting some feedback, and I don't know how honest it is, that they may continue part of this or all of it for all the Toastmasters that complete the first manual, because that now is going to be done online. You will not have a written manual like we're used to. So here is the listing of the advanced manuals that you can use. Now, how many is going to be available, we don't know yet, but at least we'll have probably half, I would surmise. And if you have any questions on this afterwards, send in, I'll be able to answer them for you. And now, in Toastmasters, we have 2 tracks. So you can work both tracks or just strictly stay on one track. We have some members that they're using this track, and all they care about is speaking and doing some of the things that will enhance their speaking ability. And then at the bottom, we have the other track. It's called the leadership track. Now, the leadership track is designed for those who want to learn how to be a good leader. Now, where can all of us here use leadership traits? Sorry?
Home, work, everything.
At home, okay? Where's another place, John?
I've been a leader most of my life. I'm more of a follower now. I want less responsibility, less stress, less accountability. So I need the opposite.
Okay, now he brought out 2 points that goes automatically with leadership. Does anybody remember what those 2 are?
Responsibility.
That's one.
Accountability.
Pardon?
Accountability.
Accountability. See, every single leader will be held accountable for what they have responsibility over. Some of us just take it for granted and we jump in and we get it done. But there are some people that, as John just pointed out, he doesn't want any part of that now. He wants to relax, he wants to learn. but he doesn't want to lead, or he doesn't want the responsibility or the accountability that goes with it. And, you know, let me be honest with you. There is nothing wrong with that. Some people are born leaders and they'll jump right into it. Others, they've tried it a couple of times and bingo, it's not their cup of tea. No. How many officers do you think we have in a club?
Seven.
Are you 1A?
7.
7. Everybody else?
8.
8.
No, maybe 7. I
7.
cheated the counter.
It's not really an officer if you're a past president.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So,
Including
as you look at
the
this sheet,
immediate past president.
they are an officer.
Also an officer, you know.
They are. And Toastmasters recognizes that. Now, when you go up to the chairs in the district, they have another office there that most people don't talk about. And that's called the immediate past district governor. Actually, it's immediate past district
District director.
director. Some people got confused, and I guess somebody got their feelings hurt. So Toastmasters did away with governor, and they changed it over to director. But it's the exact same thing. Yes.
Could I be Imperial Wizard?
You could if you want, but
Okay. Now, I want each of you to read this and look it over. Now, the reason for that is because how many committees do we have in the club that have to be manned? Anybody know? You ought to know.
well, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. There could be 6,
Okay? See if you
but
can name them.
there could be 6, but some of them might not need to be as much. The VP education, the VP of education should have a committee.
Yes,
Okay, the VP of membership should have a committee,
yes,
and the VP of public relations should have a committee.
yes,
Okay, and the sergeant at arms should have a committee.
that's correct.
Okay, and I don't know about the treasurer and the secretary.
No, they don't.
But they usually don't because of the duties. So that's the kind
No, those two don't. But the rest of, how about the immediate past club president? Does he house a committee?
of, well, we've about run out of people, so I don't know whether.
Nominating
No.
committee.
The
They have to
answer
have
is-
a nominating committee and the immediate, by rule, the immediate past president
Okay, and who appoints that?
is appointed by the immediate past president, the nominating committee.
Well, he can't nominate himself.
I understand that, but I'm,
So the person who's going to nominate it is the club president.
yeah.
Okay. Now, does it have to do with the immediate past club president? No. Many times, we have to use another past president. Right. The only person you can't use when there's actually 2 people, number 1 is the president himself, and number 2 is number 1 man, which is the vice president of education and training. Now, how long can a person be served as president? 1 year. Okay? Now, when can he come back and go through the office again?
Year later.
sorry?
A year later,
A year later. So as long as he serves a full year in another office or none at all, then he can go back and run for president again. Okay? Now, on this sheet, who has the heaviest duty?
Sergeant of Arms.
Timer.
Say it again?
Education.
Yes. Now, if you look down the sheet, you'll see that the Vice President of Education and Training has more responsibilities and more accountability than any other officer.
Are you sure about that, Lawrence?
Yes.
So I see the Sergeant at Arms get here early, set up the whole room. The first one's here, the last one's to leave. Seems like they're the busiest.
Well, I have served in both, and Sergeant at Arms is always easier than being Vice President of Education. Okay. Now, does it tell you how many you can put on your committee? No. The only thing I would recommend, never, ever serve in education or as Sergeant at Arms all by yourself. Always get at least one or two, preferably 3 people on your committee. And I've always taught people, get at least from both sexes so that you get a different viewpoint of what's going on. And even as I prepared this year as Sergeant at Arms for the summer party, I had input from some of the women because they look at things a little bit different than men do. And you'd be surprised. When I was district governor, I had 2 women that were my first assistant and my second assistant were both women. And, you know, we had some, I won't call them knockdown, drag out fights, but, you know, I had to change the way I did things. Because women look at things differently, and I never realized how different until I become governor. Okay, now, first office I'm going to talk about, and that's the reason is because they're the easiest. Club secretary responsibilities. Unfortunately, our club secretary is not here tonight, but number 1, maintain membership attendance. Okay? Number 2, record minutes. How many meetings should they record? Pardon?
all,
Any meeting in the club. So all. Now, does that include when the officers get together?
Yes.
You better believe it. Okay. Number 3, order supplies. Now, when I first started getting into leadership, I wondered, why have the secretary order supplies? 99% of the time, where do they get supplies from?
TI.
I'm sorry?
The TI. Toastmasters International.
Yeah, Toastmasters International. Okay? And number 4, circulate tips and the Toastmaster magazine. Now, how many of you are getting the Toastmaster magazine? Hopefully, all of you are. There are some very good hits that come out in that every once in a while. So it's well worth your time to look at that and pick up on some of those things. Okay? Now, next is the club treasurer. The club treasurer is more important than a lot of people give it credit for. Number 1, receive and disperse funds. Number 2, collect dues and fees early. when we start collecting dues. And you know this one.
Well, anytime after, they come due in April and September, and, well, 1st of October.
Okay, 1st of October and the 1st of
July.
April.
They
They
have
have
to be
to be
in,
received at TI. So when do you start
they
collecting
start,
dues?
start the month earlier.
Yeah, start a month earlier. So they collect them in March and September. Okay, and then they're responsible to record it and deposit the funds. Accurately fill out new member applications. Pay bills promptly. Here's one. Hasn't been done in this club in a while. Prepare a budget for your team. So our club president isn't here, so I'll give him a copy just so that he knows that's responsible. Now, the treasurer also gives a report to the club, preferably once a month, but it can be as long as 3 months apart. Never go longer than quarterly. Okay? Prepare your successor for your office. Okay? Now, these are some of the things that we need to be concerned about and stay on top of. Now, I don't have time to go through the sergeant at arms and the 2 vice presidents and the president, but I do have them here so that we can discuss those and help our officers to be better. Now, who do they serve? You and I. So it's a win-win situation when our officers know what is expected of them. And as John says, they're accountable for that office for that whole year. Madam General Evaluator, Socialist.